Another way to look at the making of money is viewing it as a change of thought causing a shift in the way energy in the universe is exchanged. This is not so that you may start living like this, but just so that you may see that simply changing your thought causes a rearranging of the energy in the universe and leads to increased wealth. Let us see how that works historically. Thousands of years ago, people were hunters and gatherers. This was a dangerous and unpredictable way to live. The desire to have more stability and safety caused human beings to think, why do I have to chase after these goats in the wild every day? That led to the idea that goats could be kept at home, domesticated. Now, instead of chasing after the goat every day across the grass plains, man brought the goats together in an enclosure and fed them the same grass from the plains. Even before this new idea, there was always an availability of grass, land, and goats, but no one had thought of changing their arrangement, of domesticating the goats. The idea simply changed the way they exchanged each other, the way the different forms of energy was exchanged. A desire for a better life caused a thought that caused betterment in the standard of living, using the same material that was always there. A change of thought pattern caused this. Next, the human beings desired to reduce their hardships further by acquiring items they needed but did not have. They first did this by going to war with tribes that had these items. Then they desired a much safer way to acquire these items, which led to the idea that they could trade. Again, they improved their lives simply by rearranging their thoughts, causing a change in the way energy in various forms was exchanged. Trade went along fine, the only problem being the long distances it took a person to carry a goat to exchange it with a bag of wheat in the next village. The desire to exchange faster and more efficiently led to the idea that instead of everyone walking all over the place, they can instead meet at one central spot and show all their goods and trade. A market was formed. Again, look at it closely. All the ingredients had always ever existed, but the idea that it could be done had not. The desire for better caused the idea that caused a shift in the way energy forms were exchanged. Remember the law that says energy is neither created nor destroyed, it only changes form. A market did not drop from the heavens on these people. They simply changed their thought pattern, and it was done. Today, the desire to trade even faster has caused us to have currency markets and stock exchanges. Imagine the time when a trader had to walk for half a day to the market, sell one cow, then walk back half a day home. Next came trucks, and farmers could drive several cows to the market and be back home early enough to do another trip. Then came futures and option exchanges, which enabled people to buy and sell thousands of livestock futures and options in seconds without having to get up or move a single cow. Yet nothing dropped from the heavens. It was all right here. People just desired different, and that desire took an infinite coordination of dozens of seemingly unrelated events to end up with a high-tech futures and options market and the zero need to move the cow at the time of trade. The sequencing of everything to end up with a result that enabled faster trade and profiting was unpredictable. But because the desire was there, nature fulfilled. But let us go back to the past. The agrarian revolution came along, and people, from their desire for more wealth, ended up with ways to improve farming. Again, they simply desired, and that desire led to thought, and what had always been there was rearranged. Nothing dropped from the heavens. But even then, it would take a king 3 generations to build a good-sized home and a fair collection of possessions. The average person did not even think it was possible for them to live in a multi-room brick home with certain amenities. That was for kings and queens. Today, life is different. We are born assuming from observation that a house is something that we shall automatically always live in, and that we shall automatically have clothes and certain other things that were reserved for royalty back then. It does not even cross your mind for a moment that you can lack certain things, yet people in the past struggled for generations to get those same things. We have the certainty that they did not have. The point here is to see the powerful effects of certainty on an individual level and on a wider scale. Certainty of thought causes massive shifts in the way energy is rearranged. A massive upshift in certainty of thought and in desire for better always leads to a massive shift in the way energy is rearranged for a better life. Take, for example, the emergence of the IT boom. You had Bill Gates and hundreds of other young people making massive amounts of wealth in very short periods. People would become billionaires in a few years instead of 4 generations as it used to take. And as fresh kids out of college watched this happen, they believed they could do it. And many of them believed. And a whole range of new businesses was formed in no time at all. Young people in their 20s were becoming millionaires by the dozens every day. Yet nothing new dropped from the heavens in those few years. All it took was massive desire, belief, and change of thought. Then the energy that was always there in various forms was rearranged into a whole bunch of new forms that led to wealth. And just as millions of people today live better than a few kings lived in the past, the very near future will have billions of average people living better than millionaires live today. And nothing new will be dropped from the heavens. We will simply desire better, have certainty on a higher level because we are now beginning to understand how it all works, and we will change our thoughts in the right way, and it will just happen in unpredictable and powerful ways. All that needs to exist is right here, and we have it all. The energy packets that make up everything around us, including our bodies, have an unlimited capability to take unlimited and unimaginable forms as long as the desire is there. They have their own intelligence, and they obey our desires with skill that we cannot imagine. If you analyze any substance at all, from light to thought to metal to flesh, it is all made up of energy packets that collect into atoms, cells, and so on. But the amazing thing about these energy packets is that, unlike the forms that they build up, they are not confined in time and space. In other words, they can move from point A to B without crossing the space in between, and they are not confined within the object that they make up. In other words, the energy packets making up your finger right now are not the same ones that will make it up in a few seconds. They can flash up in your finger and then flash up in another person's belly a moment later, or in your light bulb in the house. You do not have your own bunch of energy packets, so to speak. In fact, they're not really